Welcome back to Uncovering Real Estate, brought to you by the Brampton Real Estate Board. I'm your host, Sarabjit Rana, and it's great to be with you. If you've just joined us, I have in studio with me Mike Collins, who is broker and ICI Executive Director from iPro Realty Limited. Thanks for coming in, Mike.
Oh, thank you.
So we've been having this discussion about commercial properties, commercial investment properties. And right before the commercial break, we were about to talk about TMI and CAM charges.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've seen TMI before. What does it mean?
So we talked earlier about additional rent. So
Yes.
they are basically it's additional rent.
Okay.
So the TMI is generally taxes, your maintenance of the property, and insurance. All of that is billed back to the tenant.
Okay.
And that'll cover everything from apart from the taxes, but the maintenance of the snow plowing, the
utilities.
No utilities.
Oh.
Utilities very often are paid for in separately billed to the tenant. So this is basically all the common area maintenance,
Okay.
all the common area lighting.
Okay.
So if you got lighting in the parking lot, you pay a proportionate share of that. And of course, obviously, building insurance will be in that as well. CAM charges are a little different. Those are common area maintenance charges. So if you get into a building like an office building, you walk in, the first thing you see is a large lobby.
Yes.
You got all this marble, and you got the windows, and you got it looks fantastic. Somebody's got to pay for it.
Oh, okay.
So the CAM charges are paid for to maintain that, to clean it, to paint it periodically, to the lighting, for the power. Also, the CAM charges will do. Basically any kind of maintenance that needs to be done on the common area as well.
So if in most cases, right, in a building like that, say you're downtown or wherever else, you see security guards sitting there manning the building, so then a portion of that comes out in your share as well.
In the CAM, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
the total
self-explanatory.
The total cost of the building, the total cost for the building is divided up amongst all the tenants.
Okay.
And you pay
And that makes complete sense. And so, often, and we talked about this before, so you've got your home, everything's good, you've got some extra money, you want to start investing in commercial property, and you're thinking, okay, now I'm going to find myself a good broker or a good agent. How do I find one?
It's like any kind of job interview. Whether you're looking for somebody to represent your property and market your property, or whether you're looking for somebody to find you a property, I always recommend that you interview 2 or 3 brokers. You call them in and you say, so here's what I have. Can you tell me what you think my value of my building is or my property is, and what is your marketing plan, and part of that also is how much are you expecting to be paid for this?
So that's really interesting you said that, because I think it's important to interview somebody, especially if they're going to represent you or you're going to work with them, right? But quite often that's not the case that we think of in our head, right? Because it's almost non-traditional. And we spoke off the air about something about an older generation. Like my parents probably wouldn't think about interviewing somebody. They'd say, well, why would I do that? But it's this generation that's thinking differently.
Well, and I think we should have been for a long time. First off, whether it's your house or sort of an investment property, there's a lot of money, and to buy the wrong one can cost you a lot of money. So it's important that you interview and find out that first off you want to find somebody that you can work with, that you like.
You have to like them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the second thing is you want to know somebody that you feel comfortable with, that knows what they're talking about and is able to represent your interests.
So, Mike, is it a fair statement to say that just because somebody can sell investment commercial property doesn't mean, just because somebody can sell residential property doesn't mean they can sell you investment commercial property?
That's a fair statement for sure.
Okay.
It's first off, there's a lot of different nuances. There's a lot of different things, but even more so. In a commercial property, there's so many more factors that go into buying it. You've got environmental issues, you've got zoning issues. In a house, for instance, you drive up and down the street, and you see multiple houses. You're pretty safe to bet that you can use any of those houses for a house to live in. As a single-family home, you're pretty safe to do that.
Yep.
But in something like an office building, for instance, you see an office building and you may say, okay, well, I can put my office in there. Well, depending on parking, obviously parking dictates what kind of do it. You may or may not be able to. For instance, some offices don't have enough parking, and you can use that parking spot under the zoning, or you can use that office for accountant or a lawyer or what have you.
Right.
But you don't have enough parking to put a medical doctor in there. So that can't be used. So
Very
office
important.
is an office, but you just can't always use it. So you need to know zoning, you need to know all those extra things.
And that's really important. And the only way you know that is if you have the experience and you've done that before. Because I would never, really, quite honestly, I mean, it seems like a very visible, obvious fact. But really, if you're having a medical office, you're looking at about 20 to 25 patients coming in a day. And if you don't have enough parking space for those people, or a dentist office, you're in trouble.
Exactly. Doctors like to load up the waiting room and have you
Yeah,
wait for them.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
Lawyers, you just go one at a time. They come
That's
in and
right.
say, so it's just
That's
this,
right.
yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
you see the differential there. Totally. Okay. So what's the difference between the term rentable square feet and usable square feet?
So we talked about this a little bit earlier about the common areas and what have you.
Yes.
So if you look at an office building, for instance,
Yep.
there's stairwells, there's lobby, there is telecommunication, sort of conduits that run up and down the building. There's washrooms, there's
Okay.
janitors' rooms. All of those, there's hallways, there's elevator shafts. All those things are in the building.
Okay.
And to talk to you, when we talked about
Yeah.
it before, I said the landlord doesn't pay for anything. The tenants pay for everything.
Yeah.
Well, so what they do, the term of rentable square feet and usable square feet is the usable square feet is the space in the building inside your actual suite that you actually get
Right.
to use. So it may be 1,000 square feet.
That's mine and it's mine and no one's going to touch
That's
it.
basically.
Yeah.
But you're going to pay on 15% more because that will be what would be the gross up or for the property, which is there's 15% of the building has those common areas, those lobbies, those hallways, the
Yep.
washrooms, and what have you. So your proportionate share of those is 15%. So they would add 15% or 150 square feet
Okay.
to
Cool.
the cost.
Wonderful.
So that's what you pay rent on.
Okay. So we're going to talk some more about that in a second. We will be right back after this short break.